It's been a year since the Russia-Ukraine conflict began, and no positive sign is in sight for a quick end to the crisis. Analysts say that Ukraine has suffered bitterly from the conflict, with its economy now mired in a severe recession. According to a preliminary estimate by the Ukrainian Economy Ministry this January, Ukraine's GDP dropped by 30.4% in 2022 as compared with 3.4% growth in 2021. And Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky said late last year that half of Ukraine's energy infrastructure had been damaged. Since the start of the conflict, Western countries have imposed rounds of finance, trade, and energy sanctions on Russia. However, some analysts said Russia has withstood the impact of sharp depreciation of the ruble and the departure of Western companies in droves. The conflict has also aggravated geopolitical confrontation in Europe, intensified the global energy and food crisis, and worsened the regional and international security situation.
I'm now standing in a local street where the prices of a common commodity has been affected by the ongoing conflict between Russia and Ukraine. Just a year ago, a box of 6 eggs in the supermarket here would have cost you around 1.3 euros. However, since the outbreak of the Russia and Ukraine conflict, the same box of eggs is now being sold for 1.8 euros, about nearly a 40% increase. As the secondary disaster of the Russia-Ukraine conflict that broke out in February 2022, energy prices hurt Europe badly. The high gas and electricity prices have led to record high inflation, which in turn had a severe impact on the European economy and its citizens' livelihoods. The soaring energy prices are forcing a large number of European energy-intensive plants to curtail or even terminate production, adding fuel to the fire with the West's series of sanctions against Russia and the weapon deliveries to Ukraine. The economic, geopolitical, and social consequences for all these developments have been profound.
Over 1,000 protesters attended a rally outside the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C. to decry America's role in the Russia-Ukraine conflict, days before its first anniversary. Several protesters told Xinhua that they want the U.S. warmongers to stop stoking tensions and contribute to peace instead. However, the business has been booming for major defense contractors in the U.S. due to the ongoing crisis, raising concern that the military-industrial complex, which has a huge influence over America's foreign policy decision-making, will not put a brake on the war machine. U.S. President Joe Biden made a visit to Kiev earlier this week, announcing additional aid, including more weapons, to Ukraine, in a move that critics say could further escalate the situation.
In Belarus, President Alexander Lukashenko said that he had known about Russia's action plan before Moscow launched special military operation against Ukraine last year. In the initial months of conflict, Belarus organized 3-round negotiations between Russia and Ukraine, but without any peace agreement reached. In December last year, a Ukraine missile fell in the territory of Belarus, and the international community speculated that the possibility of Belarus being involved in Russia-Ukraine conflict was increased. However, Lukashenko said in February this year that Belarus never intends to send troops to Ukrainian territory unless Ukraine invades Belarusian territory.
I'm outside the UN Security Council chamber, where meetings focused on the Russia-Ukraine conflict have persisted since the crisis broke out in February 2022. The General Assembly held the 11th emergency special session to discuss international response. The topic even dominated the general debate in the General Assembly in September last year. UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres repeatedly stressed the fighting must stop. He met with presidents of both countries and pushed for dialogue to resolve the crisis. Many countries in the world have also been calling for a peaceful resolution. Earlier this year, China's envoy to the UN, Zhang Jun, also called on the international community to create conditions for dialogue and negotiations between Russia and Ukraine, and to redouble efforts to open up new prospects for peace in the new year.